Hey, what's up, guys, man? Welcome to my YouTube channel yet again. Y'all know what time it is, man. I'm so excited for you guys to be joining us, man. We got a new thing we're about to do today. So, you know, I try to bring you new elements, but before we get into it, you need to subscribe. You need to share this with somebody because this is about to be an amazing conversation. And I'm so excited to have two of my brothers here with me. I got my brother, Brandon Joseph, right here to my right. To your left, yeah, to my right, he light-skinned. He got nice eyes, you know what I'm saying? But Brandon is an actor. He operates, you know, like he kind of fluctuates as my acting coach. Y'all know I'm getting into acting and doing all that stuff, man, and kind of venturing out and trying all my different commas. And Brandon helps me, man. So thank you for being on.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, I'm honored, man. Honored. So he's got some projects. I mean, don't he look like a daytime soap opera star? Look at him. He just looked like he belonged on Days of Our Lives or something. and then we got to my left, your right, we have Da Vinci, who's an actor, artist, rapper, all of that stuff. But you probably know Da Vinci from Grownish. And also the hit show All American, which we all love. So, man, Da Vinci, man, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me.
So man, like, I found it to be important. Like, I did a video that we just put up last week. We were talking about I'm not okay, and I was just talking about my truth of being on this emotional roller coaster, right? You know, you got the pandemic going on, you got the economy kind of being out of whack, and then, you know, like you being an actor, you know, jobs, things of that nature, you being an actor, jobs, auditions, all of that stuff, you know, things, you know, money's kind of crazy. But then I was just talking about the emotional stability of me as an African-American man. I think that a lot of times our emotional stability is not taken into consideration. We're looked at as providers, we're looked at as protectors, but we're not looked at as people. And I think it has a lot to do with how society may see us, but then also how we see ourselves, how we were raised, things of that nature. And so I did a little bit of all this dialogue. But the big piece that everybody asks, well, like, you should have somebody there to help you, you know, relationships and, you know, things of that nature. And, you know, you need a girlfriend, you need a wife, you know, to be there to bounce ideas off and be that emotional support. But what we're finding right now, man, like a lot of relationships or a lot of marriages are ending in divorce. People are getting married a lot later. Or they're not getting married at all because people just don't take marriage seriously, or they just don't want to deal with it. Let me ask you all, let me ask both of you as African-American men in your age bracket, your age group, because I'm going to have a different set of guys that's going to come in from a different age group to kind of give us some wisdom on. Okay. But from your age group, Brandon, I'm going to ask you first. You know, one of the things with relationships is vulnerability, right? It has to be a level of vulnerability. Were you raised, now this is just me asking about your upbringing, were you raised to be a husband? Because I think it's different. Like you, a lot of times we're raised to be men, but we're not raised to be husbands. Were you raised to be a husband? Was that like a dialogue that was taught to you?
To be a husband, no. I was actually raised, you know, basically to be a man, you know, and not even just a man, but what society, you know, views men as. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, no crying, you know, you're not really expressing your feelings and whatnot, but, you know, you're supposed to be this, you know, tough guy. Yeah. And, you know, be a provider, be a protector, you know, being able to handle yourself. Yeah. You know, especially being from New York, those principles are necessity. Yeah. You know, so you have to be able to, you know, have that tough facade. Mm-hmm. And, you know, me being light-skinned, me being quote-unquote pretty boy, you know, that's something I definitely had to, you know, maneuver and make sure. Yeah. So, you know, even at a young age, you know, my pops put me into like Taekwondo so I can be able to, you know, just handle myself, you know, whatever comes my way. So,
so I think that that's like a big piece because we're raised not to show emotions, and not to cry, not to be vulnerable. Then all of a sudden you get to a certain age and you get in a relationship and they're like, talk to me, open up to me, share with me, cry to me. You know, tell me how you're feeling. And you're like, wait a minute, when am I supposed to hit this switch? because all my life I've been told that equates weakness. Now you want me to be weak. You want me to be vulnerable. You want me to share. So, that's your truth. What about you, Da Vinci? Like, how were you kind of raised?
Same way, just be a warrior.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. I didn't have room for feelings in my house really. I was the youngest of 4 boys. I was a baby, and it's like my mother was always working.
Yeah.
I wasn't born with like my parents in the house.
Yeah.
Together, so my mother was just working and take us to church every Sunday and do all that stuff. But majority of the time, being raised by my brothers, so nobody had time for feelings. It was just go on the streets and do whatever.
Yeah.
So that's literally how it was. So I developed feelings by listening to Drake.
I developed feelings by listening to Drake. Matter of fact, I'm putting that on the T-shirt. I'm putting that on the T-shirt. I am putting that on the T-shirt. Don't nobody try to steal that. I'm putting on the T-shirt. I developed feelings by listening to Drake.
Yeah, he was like the first dude that really, he was the pioneer for men,
Yeah.
Really just talk about your feelings. I didn't really develop feelings from that, but when I really started becoming a man on my own, I realized being a real man is being okay with showing that. That's the true definition of a man.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, the definition that they have, they think you're not supposed to show that, which that's not a real man.
Yeah, and if I can expound on that, it's kind of like just me, growing, being on this journey of, just being, an actor, entrepreneur and whatnot, just being able to know yourself and being able to grow, being able to be vulnerable, that's a huge part of your growth.
Yeah.
Just being in tune of who you are and what you're capable of.
Yeah.
So I feel like just being in tune of your emotions, how you feel, and just knowing who you are, that's a huge piece to becoming, a man.
Yeah. Depending on how you were raised, like immediately, like we think, how we were raised was right. Like I was raised in this house, this the way, I was raised, this has to be the right way. You know what I'm saying? And not understanding that whoever had a hand in raising you, grandmother, mother, father, grandfather, uncle, auntie, whoever had a hand in raising you, they were trying to grow as well. They were trying to be an adult as well. They had their own issues and own things that they were battling and going through. And a lot of times people will push their issues on you and make you fearful. We saw like one of my favorite dumb movies is The Waterboy, right? and she raised him. Everything was the devil.
Her name's Vicky.
I don't ever want you associating with little girls.
Why not, Mama?
Because little girls are the devil.
That's the devil, because she had her own fears. And we see it, even though I laugh and I joke about it, I was like, man, but that's so true, because we have people that raise us by their own fears, and so when it comes to Da Vinci, when it comes to how you're raised, not being able to show feelings, there was no, like you said, there was no room for really feeling in your home. How are you navigating with relationships in like vulnerable spaces when you're still trying to learn Da Vinci as well?
It's difficult, definitely, because I never even had like a bedtime story read to me from like my parents as a kid.
Yeah.
So there's a disconnect that I have with a certain level of like intimacy in relationships, a certain part. But I'm learning that. But a lot of times, I would hear girls say like, well, you never open up or you never want to share nothing. But it's just like, well, it's like I didn't grow up like that. And, secondly, like I don't trust you that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like,
no, that's a big one. That's a big one.
We just met, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like you need years under your belt with me for me to really start trusting you and start opening up to you, and you want to know what's going on in business, like how much money is what, like, yo, don't ask me shit like that.
Yeah.
But
so like, well, let me ask you this: when it comes to, because a lot of times what we're finding now in this day and age, that women are so like, I meet you today, I'm ready to get married in a month.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like you said, time in. But what's the difference between moving too fast and moving too slow? Because like you said, like, you need years in with this. And they be like, I ain't got years.
I think nowadays, like if I meet somebody, a lot of times they want to like tie them out really fast. But I got to remember where I'm at in life right now. So it makes sense for them to want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Now it's just like, yo, first off, we need to be dating for like 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta earn your stripes.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta trust you. I gotta watch the little things that you do, how you move around friends, how you move around people when I take you out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do that because otherwise it's like everything that I worked for, the wrong relationship would ruin that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Yep.
All the years and hours and tears I spent, the wrong relationship would just take that away from me.
Yep.
In a blink of an eye.
Yep.
And I'm left hanging. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I think about that, I'm just like, nah, I can't. And that's my biggest problem. People always say, why don't you open up? You never want to share. It's just like, just let me go at my pace.
Yep.
There's a reason why I'm apprehensive. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what I know. You don't know how much I sacrificed to get here.
Yeah.
I'm not about to give it to somebody who's not, you know, well trained and groomed for my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I don't think you have emotional intelligence and certain things, I'm not about to just give everything over to you and just ruin my life. You know what I'm saying? So that's really my thing for taking my time. You know, I try to see if the person can mature, and things like that. So I try to give it like a good couple of years before I get married. It's just like, if we together and you love me and I love you, don't pressure me to get married.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's mine is yours anyway.
Yeah.
Why do you want to get married? You know what I'm saying? I start looking at you like, you got an agenda.
And you got an agenda,
Right.
and that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. Brandon? What about you, man? Like dating, pace, opening up. How are you?
I mean, to be honest, I'm in the same exact space, you know. Even with the way my family was set up, the way my parents, you know, basically told us the way we lived, it was kind of like, a lot of times it was secretive. It was like, you know, no one needs to know your business, this, that, and the third. So a lot of times with me, I'm very patient with relationships. I'm not the one to kind of just, we're in it and I'm just tell you everything and just dump everything. I'm not with that. Yeah. I'm more on the page of, I know where I'm at and I know where I'm going. Therefore, I don't want to force any relationship. So now I'm in the space of just, I'm allowing myself to grow and be where I am. If there's a relationship that that's for me or that I need to be in, it will find its way in my life. So I'm not the one to kind of just, you know, I'm not fiending to look for that relationship. Yeah. You know, and just, I'm good where I'm at. And when it comes to just the needed relationships, I feel like I have that in my team. So I have what I need to, you know, grow, mature, and things of that nature. But when it comes to like that real relationship, like, I'll wait on that and allow it to have its course.
That's awesome, man. I think one of the things too, man, is Da Vinci, you alluded to emotional intelligence, and you know, one of like a red flag for me is when a woman has no restraint. If I haven't seen you angry, frustrated, hurt, sad, whatever, I don't know you. I don't know you, because at that point, you don't know someone until you've seen them mad. Like, because you don't know what they're capable of. And if you don't practice restraint in your anger, that tells me that anytime you're angry, you can do whatever you want to and blame it on your anger. There are a lot of people in jail right now that was angry one time, but they
in there for life.
And now you're in there for life because you had no restraint on how you could control yourself. But that goes to how you handle my platform, my legacy, my money, all of those things. I worked my butt off to get to a certain point, and even though I'm not where I want to be, I am light years ahead of where I deserve to be. But the reality of it is, if you don't have a restraint and you can't calm yourself down and you do whatever you want to and blame it on the fact that you were upset, nah, I can't do that. And I think that it's that emotional intelligence that, we got too much to lose to just do whatever we want to do.
Absolutely.
You know?
It just like, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
This popped in my spirit as you were talking. It's like, sometimes the wrong person, like if they don't have emotional intelligence, they would pick a fight on important days when you got big ass meetings.
So true.
You know what I'm saying? Or pick a fight in public.
So true.
And certain things, it's like, I'm super conservative and super private.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I can be going through hell. And I don't want you to know, you will not know.
Yeah.
But I can't have a person by my side that's picking a fight in public when we out at an event or something like that.
Yeah.
People were, peeping.
Start
and
looking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That right there is just like, whenever I see that, I just know, like, yeah, I got to keep you in the house.
Yeah.
And quarantine you. And figure out how
Quarantine you.
and figure out how I'm going to cut you off. Because it's just like, you're
dangerous.
And a person like that is just like, you don't want to give information to.
Yeah.
That's the same type of person, like, under the name of being angry.
Yeah.
They're going to air all your dirty laundry out, everything, you know what I'm saying? So, and like, I see that immediately from the beginning. I'll know how to play a situation.
Yep.
And they're like, well, why don't you trust me? Why don't you open up? I'm like, yeah, well, you got a lot of issues and you can't control your emotions, so you can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Because you can't trust yourself. That's what that means. If a person can't trust themselves, why am I going to trust you?
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. Like, as black men, I know we're talking about the relationship aspect. I know we're talking about vulnerabilities and opening up and trust, because trust is a big piece, right? I got to be able, especially like for you two and myself, we are creatives, we are in acting, we're doing all of these different doing all these different things, and it's important to have your headspace clear. Right? So like if you trying to remember lines for a movie, I ain't got time to be arguing with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to remember this. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this, and then you want me to fight with you. It's taking away from my mental space. But let me ask you guys this. Outside of the whole dating thing, how are you, or what do you do, or what is your outlet for you as a black man? Like, what is your outlet? What is the things that you like, I'm gonna go do this to clear my head? And I'm talking about, like, candidly, like because what I found, even with myself, now I'm just gonna be totally honest, totally transparent. I found that when in my most difficult places, hurting, like if I was, like I've been grieving for a while, if I've just been hurt or feeling out of whack, I will run to dysfunctional things. And I had to look at and take inventory of myself to say, and a lot of times immediately everybody think, well, when you say dysfunctional things, oh, he running to sex. No, it could be dysfunctional conversations. It can be spending, because like I got a spending habit, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it'd be like, oh yeah, I don't need to buy that. I don't need to do that. Now I'm feeling some type of way. So my outlet can be shopping. Mm-hmm. It can be eating. Yep. It can be whatever. So what outlets do you all have that is helping you continue to maintain your mental space for your level of creativity and what it is that you need to be focused on for the projects that are ahead? Like, what are you doing? What is your outlet?
Working out with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
That is so fun. Like, if I'm working out, I'm playing ball, we lifting weights or whatever, and we dive into each other's lives, and I start listening to their personal life, their problems and stuff like that. It's just so therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then game nights. So I have game nights with my friends, and it takes you outside of your life, and you're only focused and stressing about this game. And strategizing with that, and it's like, when you do that, you just get lost in the moment, and just time doesn't exist. And I think those are different healthy things that I do, and go out in nature, go on the beach and skate, with my dog and chill. I watch some Disney movies that's like inspirational, and it just like programs me to start thinking in the right direction. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like I'll go down a downfall and start thinking just negative. Yeah. So that's mine.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. One of my things that at times I can get into a space where I'm just thinking negatively, and people don't know the power of your thoughts. That can actually contribute to you doing, negative actions that you shouldn't be doing. But for me, praying and meditating definitely helps. Listening to music. I'm big on movies. Just chilling with, my boys, my friends, and, just surrounding yourself with positive energy.
So, what up?
I was gonna throw one more thing in there. Also, a lot of times what I'll do, I'll delete social media completely. Like, I only use social media for like work purposes. Like, we posting something and engaging with fans. But if I'm not doing that, I would delete it. And I'm probably listening to a sermon around the house, cleaning and just doing something, and just like, I cannot stand the social media world. Yeah. I cannot.
Yeah. I'm off of social media. outside of probably like one app, but the main one, Instagram, I'm not on, and not on Facebook. And I'm finding that, you know, everybody like, oh, you gotta come back, and I'm just like, man, like, I like stuff like my YouTube channel because I can control content. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can do this, put it up, and then, you know, people can hear from me, hear my voice. But it's like, yo, like, I don't, you know, like, social media is a big aspect. And then also what I learned about myself is that when I was on Instagram, I started comparing myself so much.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be scrolling, I see somebody preaching, I'd be like, oh, you know, like, and I'm like, oh man, like that was good. And then I'm like, then I post something and it doesn't get the same. And I'm like, oh, well, dang, you know, like, but I don't want to be that way. And so I was finding certain things within me that I didn't like about myself. And then I don't like that everybody feels like because they follow you, they know you. And, you know, they feel like it's comfortable for them to say whatever they want to say because they hiding behind the keyboard, you know, like that type of stuff I don't like because you know, it's a lot of people that wouldn't dare say what they say in person, the stuff that they say on Instagram. So that type of stuff, man, you know, so I'm happy to be out there. But let me ask y'all this, like, how important is it, you know, for you to take those breaks? Because what I'm finding now, and one of the things I'm trying to exercise now that I'm implementing, actually I started last week and I didn't do a good job, but just taking time to be off my phone. Like, man, like now people are so programmed that as soon as they text you, they're expecting a response. If they don't get a response by a certain time, they start texting again and get mad and all that type of stuff. Like, we have programmed people to expect instant responses and things of that nature. Like, your phone is glued to you. I'm reading this book called How to Break Up with Your Cell Phone. And I think a lot of times what hinders us even in relationships, and I have, like I said, I don't do a good job of this. Like, I could be in a room and I'm not present because I'm talking to, like, you know, I own a sneaker store, so we're on a constant grind to get sneakers all throughout the day. Then it's, you know, the church stuff, and then it's the, you know, other business opportunities. Then I'm into getting into trading and stocks, and so I'm always checking that and looking at numbers here and looking at this. But one of the things I'm realizing is keeping me glued to my cell phone. And then I get around people and they be like, well, you on your phone all the time. I'm like, well, because I'm working. It's my work, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to disconnect. So how important is it, or where do you think, like, for yourself, is it important for you to disconnect throughout the day? What, you know, like, what type of situation is that, Brandon?
Yeah, I think definitely. I try to monitor how much I'm on my phone, whether on social media or YouTube, you know, just those things. At times, like even when I'm out eating, I try to, you know, put my phone down or something. And I think it's extremely important because a lot of people, it's worse for the younger generation because, like, you know, now they lack social skills. You know, they're always on the phone, or if they do speak, it's on, you know, FaceTime, it's on texting, you know what I mean? So a lot of times it's just being able to disconnect and just seeing what's around you. You know, a lot of times we miss things just because we're always on the phone. But at times I really do try to manage how much I'm on it, or even on, you know, Instagram or TikTok or whatever the case may be. I try to minimize how much I'm on it and try to be present of where I'm at.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, same. I definitely, I read something like maybe 3 years ago, and it was this doctor that was talking about social media, and he was like, and he was breaking the brain down and then talking about social media, and he was like, what a lot of people don't understand is that whatever you're doing at any given moment, you're physically modifying your brain to become better at that. So when you're looking at images that have nothing to do with the previous image or the previous video, it's training you to have ADHD. So you could be watching an elephant here, then you're watching two girls fighting, then you're watching a bunny eating Doritos, then you're watching whatever the hell. And it's just like, it's training your brain to have a short attention span, to only focus for this amount of time. So what I do at night, if it's 8 p.m., 9 p.m., I delete Instagram. I don't have it. So people's like, yo, go check this out. Check your DM. I'm like, bro, I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, well, why don't you have it? It's just like, why do I need it? Why do I need to get caught in the trap and just start scrolling aimlessly and seeing things that I don't care to see? You know what I'm saying? I'd rather lay down, chill, and control what's being put in me. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why Derek is the one that told me, he said, you got to create it for the entertainment purposes. Prior to meeting Derek, I deleted social media. I didn't have it. But that's what put me ahead of my generation. Like the kids that's my age, people are like, how the hell you like that? Well, for 3 years I didn't have that, and I was in college. That's the prime of the social media stuff when I was in college, you know what I'm saying? But I peeped that, I knew that, and I was like, okay, I have to distance myself from this, because I'm watching the effect that I have on people, and then you can't help but compare yourself to others when you're on there, even if you're not trying to. You know, you see something, you're like, damn, I only got 1,000 likes right here. This person got 2,000. You're like, wait, what? My thing is, my thing look better than theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though you don't even mean to be messed up about the situation. And then there's this algorithm that Instagram uses called the casino effect. So what they do in casinos, you know, with the slot machines, you play, they'll have you win one time.
Yeah.
You win $10,000. And then the next 40 times you don't win.
Yeah.
But it gets you, you're addicted to it because you're thinking about that one time. So it does that with your images.
Yeah.
It'll make one image do really well and hit. Next 20 images, nothing. Then another one will hit, but it gets you addicted because life is up and down like this. If you're constantly constant and it's really showing everybody your material all the time and you're getting the same amount of likes and views all the time, you know what I'm saying? You're not hungry for it. You're not hungry for it.
Yeah.
When you go down, then you're like, yo, this next one is gonna be better.
Yeah.
You're putting more thought in it, and it's getting you more addicted to it.
Yeah.
I despise social media.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's that whole dopamine. It feeds something on the inside of you that gives you such an emotional rush to be so connected to everything else and to know, oh, people like me. And I think at the root of it, it is the idea, man, people like what I'm putting out, they like me. And just because you're getting likes don't mean that they like you. And I think Instagram is a great place, or social media is a great place for business, but it's a horrible place for our hearts. Yeah. And what happens is we put our hearts on social media and expect for strangers to treat us right. They're not. They don't care. Right. They're there today, gone tomorrow. So I was just trying to get y'all outlook on breaks and all of that stuff. So this the last thing. All right, so we got, I got this thing that I do called commas, right? And I tell people, man, the proper punctuation gives you the right to be more, right? So proper punctuation gives you the right to be more. So a thing about commas is, I'm a pastor, right? But then I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm also a philanthropist. I'm also an actor. I'm also an executive producer. I'm also an artist. I'm also a business owner. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many aspects of me. When I first connected with you, it was through the Bible study, and we kind of connected after that and just kind of had conversation. And one of the things that I didn't know was that acting really wasn't your first thing that you wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I always had a love for it though as a kid, like always had a love. That's why I took it as an elective in college.
Okay.
So I definitely loved it, but it was really music.
So music was the first thing, and then.
Yeah. But I would want to do more than acting because you just have more control. You're telling, you could control the narrative.
Yeah.
But in acting, when you become a writer and a producer, you know what I'm saying, then things change. But right now, it's like I'm a pawn. It's a 9-to-5 world. It's just you get paid fast, sums of dollars. Yeah. But it's the same thing.
Same thing. All right, cool. Well, man, I want to thank y'all for being on. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, knowledge. Now I'm pretty sure. Oh, Instagram. Yeah, do that.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Da Vinci, DAVI. And I knew that was going DAVINCHI, on all platforms.
All platforms, Da Vinci. You follow these guys, follow Brandon, follow Da Vinci. I'm honored to have them on today. Y'all know what to do. You got to subscribe. You got to share. I think this conversation has been enlightening, and I thank them for sharing their wealth and their knowledge with us today. And yeah, man, we got some amazing things coming up on the channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Do what you do. And how we end every show is that you got to remember, God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are. Remember, God is doing more than what you think he is, and you're doing better than what you think you are. I'll see you guys real soon. All right?